right, here we go. Welcome everyone to the finals. We've got the Bergund at the bottom of your screen versus Beowulf at the top. This is best of 3 for the trophy, the winner of Challenge 9. Bergund's going to keep a hand of 2 power, an Honor of Claws, Wisdom of the Elders, Helio, Gen of Merchant, and a Stormhalt Knife. So one of the key things for these control decks, Stormguard, is also making sure you hit your power. Now, with Merchant, with Wisdom, with Helio, and with Honor of Claws, that hopefully shouldn't be a problem for the Bergund, but you want to make sure that you hit a power every single turn and keep moving up the ladder. Getting stuck on 2 or 3 is not something these control decks want to do, so it'll be important for Bergund. You'll see them aggressively draw Honor of Claws and Wisdom of the Elders to try to get more power to make sure that happens.
Yep. Ooh,
See
easy
that right
bottom
here.
speed.
You see that right here, dropping Speaking Circle to the bottom. No need for that when you need to hit power.
Unfortunately for the Burgund here, so they did manage. I was about to say that their opening hand didn't have a lot of interaction pieces, which it could be quite crucial for the Hurukir matchup because it doesn't usually amp out a lot of power super quickly, but it can. And ooh, that is not good.
This is brutal
That
for the
is
Bergund. Not missing their power is really tough there. Passing it back, Beowulf has a Bubble Shield in hand, as well as a Levitate, a backup Hojin, and a Kira ascending. So Beowulf able to stick the first unit with protection. Bergund missing their third power. That is really bad for the control deck.
to the Defiance here. Fortunately, the Brigand probably will be able to peel off this Hojin um, next turn with the Snowball anyway,
Yeah,
which is
probably, but is
helpful.
the damage done at this point? We're going to follow up with a Kira or another Hojin. Oh, interestingly, instead, Beowulf is passing it back with just keeping Levitate up.
Absolutely makes sense. You're just slow speed dazzle, play your power, and probably. Oh, choosing not to snowball here. I guess this one already has the renown off.
Okay, Beowulf this turn just going to play their power. They still have Kira, backup Hojin, Levitate, and a Huru painting in hand. Here comes the 4-3 Kira. Hailstorm a good draw for the Burgund here, but instead they're going to go. Gotta assume that Beowulf has some sort of protection. Instead, going to go and grab Lightning Storm out of the market off of the Merchant. Beowulf going to start out with a Levitate to draw 2 cards off of Kira.
Ooh, draws a crawl and takes a pretty big hit, but unfortunately has no targets here.
Takes a 5 damage hit, although in this matchup for Beowulf, the life total, Beowulf's life total really doesn't matter for the most part. You know, it's the Burgund's life total that's going to matter. If Beowulf can kill the Burgund, the game will end. If the Burgund can stabilize and not die, then they'll just win regardless of what life total Beowulf's at.
Indeed. Really a big hit here. I'd probably be tempted to just chump block here.
Oh, look at that. That Kira is already fully powered up. Is going to make that Hojin an 8-6. It's huge this early in the game.
Unfortunately for Beowulf, they don't have a card something along the lines of Saditi to really capitalize on damage. Ooh, and clearing the board with the 2 direct damage spells out
That's a
of
lot.
Beowulf
That's
here.
really nice there to clean up the board. And is that going to be enough? Now, Burgund also, remember, has this knife, and this knife, you're going to be able to play that when you have 10 or less life for free, or for 6 if you need to. Burgund is stuck on a single justice, but they have time to find that. So that may have been what Burgund needed to stabilize a little bit here. Beowulf has Smuggler, Akaria, Hojin, and Smuggler here. Going to run out the Smuggler without Onslaught to grab Palace. As we talked about before, Palace can be the breaker in this matchup, but you need units to stick here. And that Lightning Storm that Burgund got 4 turns ago, coming up huge here, taking out those 2 units, and Palace looks a lot worse now.
Palace into Wisdom. Yep, Wisdom.
It's into Wisdom.
Gosh.
Still pretty good, though. I mean, even Palace on an empty board, we talked about, is definitely not as good as it is with a bunch of units. But if the Burgund doesn't have any way to pressure the Palace, still something. Following up with the pumped up Akaria after the Palace allows you to give it Aegis. So now you've got an 8-7 flying Aegis Endurance Akaria here. Of course, the 4-4 is just till end of turn, but still a pretty big unit there. And now with the second Kira, keeping that sack the city going, you've got your Beowulf's presenting lethal this next turn.
In a variety of different ways, unfortunately, and without a way to pop the
There you go.
Aegis on cheap. Yep.
Wow, we talked about how important Palace is in the matchup. Now, thankfully for Beowulf, they were able to land 3 straight units after deploying their Palace. But that card is not a card that Bergund wants to see in this matchup. The unfortunate thing that the Bergund has to figure out here, though, is that the Bergund does not really have a proactive way to stop the Palace from coming out. Correct? Their strategy is basically just going to be wipe the units so that Palace is less effective.
Their only hope is perhaps like Genève Merchant into usually not onslaughted Royal Decree if they suspect that Beowulf has gone in early. But I'm sure both players are having lost to both players many times. I can tell you that they're both probably very well aware of what each other could do to disrupt each other's strategies, and there's a chance that Bale might just bait out of different cards.
Yeah, and as Eldrimar
Ooh,
points out in chat, Bergund is running 3 copies of the Speaking Circle, which can take out Palace cleanly as well.
indeed.
So that's gonna be an out for Bergund to deal with a landed Palace before it gets too out of control. Another awkward
Ooh,
hand here for Bergund. No early interaction except for the Defiance, but you can't cast it because you don't have Justice. So Bergund again on an awkward hand is going to have to do their best to get this to work and hopefully not fall too far behind in the process.
fortunately, the Bergund is on the play this time, so they do have a little bit more
Ooh.
time to try and find
Beowulf
what they're looking for.
on an
And with a
aggressive mulligan down to 6, keeping a hand of 4 power, Justice Etchings, and an Ikaria. Not
ooh,
the best hand.
that is, yep, definitely not a fantastic hand, especially when you see snowballs coming out the other side as well. Live Merchant probably putting away a Defiance for, I presume, a Lightning Storm?
For a Royal
Oh,
Decree,
Royal Decree
actually.
instead.
But yeah, Burgund's still stuck on no Justice influence. Now, they will have Honor of Claws next turn, which has a good chance of finding one, but it's a little tough. But thankfully for the Burgund, a little bit of a slower hand for Beowulf. Now, they do have a Hojin now and a Huntress, so 2 big draws for Beowulf. Now, they don't have the second Primal for Justice, or for Huntress. So both of our players here essentially missing one one faction from what they're trying to do.
Ouch. Ooh, okay, so
Beowulf can hit that Ikaria though. That's gonna put him up to 5 Justice. All right, Snowball for
that's
Burgund.
Snowball. Yep. I think
Beowulf
I'd
with no
just
way to
fire off
protect it.
Snowball from an onslaught with your Royal Decree. Because you know Beowulf has multi-sec, so the odds that they have um a hand that is, what's the word I'm looking for? A hand that is resilient to disruption is
Yep.
quite low.
And they're gonna take out the Hojin. So Burgund is gonna hit the Hojin, turn that into a Seek Power, which is a good play. The funny thing about that is turning it into a Seek Power will allow Beowulf to go get a Primal. Okay, they're gonna Justice Etchings here. You just grab Palace right now, especially now that the Royal Decree's gone, and then Seek Power for your second Primal. Yep, that's what they got. They got Palace here. And interestingly, they go with the Justice symbol here. They bump up their Justice, but it means that they actually tossed the Seek Power away. Interestingly, they tossed the Seek Power away, so now they don't have the second Primal for Palace.
Thing.
Curious play there. Burgund still missing Justice. Thankfully for them, the only Justice card they have is that Defiance. Ouch! I'm missing something on that Beowulf turn. I feel like you need that second Primal for your Huntress
Yeah.
and Palace in hand. I'm not sure why you would toss that Seek Power away. Now, Gonna grab Builder's Decree here. Can this merchant grab the Seek Power? It can't, right? No, because it's just a Justice or
No,
Primal card, so that Seek Power's gone.
okay. Oh, there's the Justice Influence.
There it is,
Per-
and then
and
leaving a
the perfect
Hooru Signia on top.
power for design.
All right, Seat of Order, the draw for Beowulf. That's gonna hit their second
Okay,
primal.
very fortunate.
Doing it the hard
I
way
think
here. Gonna go ahead and draw that off the
probably
top,
put
which
it
allows them
on.
to hit
Yeah,
that
put it on
uh,
Rhyme Conclave
Palace.
Smuggler. I think that they're fairly well aware. Yep, they're fairly well aware that the Bergund probably has a Defiance in hand. So making sure that you still get some value off your Withstand instead of putting it on the flyer here. Yep,
As you
Defiance.
said, the Defiance here. Gonna just pop the Aegis off the Smuggler here. Bergun's gonna go to 11.
Builder's
Timing on this
Decree.
Builder's Decree here.
Block here. I might block Turn to Seed, I think.
Turn to Seed, or you take away the knife?
They're at the Burgund's at 11. So I mean, like, and you've seen them be stuck on Justice Influence.
True.
Yep. So I think in this position with the known information,
Oh,
I think
another
it's the
Turn to
thing.
Seed off the top. Ouch.
Ooh.
Well, look at this. Snowball yourself. 1 damage puts you to 10, so you can play the knife for free. How about that heads up play by Bergund there?
Fantastic.
All right, Wisdom of the Elder is going to draw an Ikaria and a Justice Etchings. Love that play for Bergund. Although Bergund's
Incredibly
still
hit
facing
today.
down a lot of trouble here. I mean, this Palace is still.
I think, yeah, Beowulf is like, if you've got the Defiance, you've got the Defiance, but I need to get you dead
Yeah.
before you can set up all over me.
I mean, Bergund doing everything they can here, but it's tough. And now that's going to get Aegis to protect this Ikaria, as well as, more or less all their units coming down now. Although not the Kodash Evangel. All right, going to Justice Etchings here.
Value. Ooh, what do you...
For a Trick Shot Ruffian.
Makes sense.
A lot of damage coming through. Bergund now has
have...
to deal... Bergund has to deal with a lot here.
Okay,
second knife. Oh, third.
Okay, that's a lot of knives.
Okay.
Very helpful.
Unfortunately, you can only get one one attack. I assume you play out 1 though to get the free 5.
They probably do. They just they just have to knife the Ikari.
Yeah, knife the Ikari and then get the 5 on the
play
other
the
one.
other knife.
But this is still dead to sack the city. Yeah.
Sack the city. Yep.
Nothing they could do. And this whole match was just decided by Palace. Palace is just so brutal for control decks to deal with.
Absolutely.
As well as not having Justice, although that didn't actually impact the game quite as much as it looked at 1 Defiance. But yeah, Beowulf, congratulations to Beowulf on winning Winter